Question: are you a grown-up? If so, here's another question. Have you ever, at least once, searched YouTube for a productivity hack? I know I have. Who doesn't like a good productivity hack? Who doesn't need a good productivity hack? Well, what if I told you that at the root of all these productivity hacks are just 5 basic principles? And if you got those, you don't need the hacks.
Psychology, made simple.
I'm a neurospicy psych major on the long road to PhD. You can call me Dex. And this 30,000-foot view of the psychology behind productivity will inform and hopefully inspire you to want to learn more. A couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with ADHD. That's the neurospicy bit in neurospicy psych major at the top of every episode. If you're not familiar with how that feels, for me, it's kind of like, you know those flip books that you can make? And if you don't, it's worthwhile having a go. You get a notepad, and at the bottom of every page, you draw a little stick figure maybe. And you move to the next page, draw the same stick figure, but slightly further along in whatever it's doing, like running or something. And next page, slightly further along. And then when you've finished, if you flick through all the images, like so, obviously this hasn't got the images, don't want to deface my Hemingway.
Nice.
It creates a cartoon. Again, really cool. You used to do more of the time at school, which is probably why I didn't do very well at school. Now imagine you do a flick book, but instead of that one character progressing along in a story, it's a different picture on every corner. That's kind of how my brain works. So I find it difficult to focus and to stay productive for any meaningful length of time. So I love productivity hacks. And have you ever noticed that every week there's a new productivity hack that promises to change your life? There's the Pomodoro technique, habit stacking, eat that frog, time blocking. They all sound different, but here's the thing. Most of them rely on the same underlying principles. So instead of chasing that next shiny method, today we're going to break down the 5 psychological foundations that explain why these hacks work. Once you understand these, you'll never need another productivity book, app, or guru again, because you'll be able to design a system that actually fits your life. If you design it, it's going to be easy for you to use. And if you can use it easily, you're more likely to use it. And the productivity hack that works is the one you use. Number 1, focus. Your attention is limited, so you have to protect it. Nobel Prize winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman calls attention a scarce resource. Once it's gone, it's gone. That's why distractions are so costly. You see, you may think it takes a second to check your phone, but it doesn't. It can take 20 minutes to fully regain that deep focus you had on the task you were doing before that notification arrived. And that's exactly why hacks like the Pomodoro technique or time blocking actually work. You know the technique where you set a timer for a certain amount of study time or work time, and then a certain break time afterwards. Work, break, and the two never meet. This is really useful for me. Even though I will work for a very short space of time and my break time is actually a bit longer, I get the job done. These techniques protect your focus by reducing what's called task switching costs. Instead of juggling 5 things at once, you're single tasking, which is far more efficient than multitasking, which you can't actually do, by the way. So the principle here isn't the timer, it's guarding your attention like it's gold. 2, motivation. Motivation is essentially why we start and keep going. Or another way to look at it is how we stop procrastination. Now here's the secret. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's actually more about emotional regulation. When a task feels stressful, uncertain, or boring, your brain wants to avoid it. That's why hacks like Eat the Frog, doing the hardest task first, work. They get the tough stuff out the way before your willpower fades. My very first episode of Psychology Made Simple was all about procrastination. I'll put a link in the end card. Or perhaps consider habit stacking from James Clear's awesome book, Atomic Habits. Habit stacking works because you're reducing the friction to start connecting a new behavior to something you already do automatically, like brushing your teeth or combing your hair. Making coffee. The big principle here, reduce friction, increase reward. Make starting so easy it feels silly not to start.
3.
Time management. Making your priorities visible. You've all heard of time management, but likely not in this way. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. What matters is what you do with those 24 hours. That's why the Eisenhower matrix is so powerful. It forces you to separate the urgent from the important. Because honestly, most of us spend our days reacting to emails and pings instead of working on the stuff that actually matters in the long term. Psychologists Locke and Latham found that clear, specific goals significantly increase performance. That's why systems like SMART goals and weekly planning survive every trend cycle. They make priorities visible. So the principle here isn't just making to-do lists, it's also deciding what not to do. Because if everything is important, nothing is important. Which brings me neatly on to decision making and systems. Ever wonder why successful people wear the same outfit every day? Mark Zuckerberg used to have those hoodies. Steve Jobs with his black turtlenecks. It's not fashion. It's to avoid decision fatigue. Every decision you make takes up brain space. It drains mental energy. That's why hacks like batching similar tasks, making checklists, or using productivity apps can feel so liberating. They reduce the number of decisions you have to make daily. And once something becomes a habit, it stops draining willpower. Charles Duhigg showed that habits run on autopilot. That's why habit systems are more reliable than relying on motivation alone. So the principle here is simple. The fewer decisions you make each day, the more energy you save for high value work. And finally, 5. Energy management. You're not a machine. Productivity isn't just about time management, it's about energy management. So that's why when we have the same 24 hours in a day as the high performers, it isn't just about grinding it out, working 18 hours a day for a year. I do not subscribe to the grind mindset for a number of reasons, but that's another episode. Think about it. What good is a perfectly organized schedule if you're exhausted? Noted ginger and neuroscientist Matthew Walker found that sleep isn't just rest. It's like brain maintenance. Without enough of it, your focus, memory, and emotional regulation collapse. The same goes for exercise and nutrition, and even breaks. Working in 90-minute cycles with short rests matches your brain's natural ultradian rhythms. So
Did homeboy say ultradian rhythms? It's me, cool baby Dex. If loving psychology is wrong, I don't ever want to be right. Ultradian rhythm is a biological cycle that repeats more than once within a 24-hour period, lasting less than 20 hours. Your body moves through waves of alertness and fatigue that last about 90 minutes all day long. That means after about an hour and a half of work, your brain naturally starts to slow down. And you trip in if you think you can push through with coffee or scrolling. But I got you. Here's the hack. If you line up your work sprints with your ultradian cycles and give yourself a 10 to 15 minute break when the wave dips, you'll come back sharper and avoid burnout and brain fog. It's like surfing, brah. You're either paddling against the current or riding with it. Just don't wait until you're exhausted. Work with your rhythm, not against them. That'll be my curry. I got a chip before my biryani gets cold. Juices, yo.
So hacks like take a walk or schedule deep rest aren't luxuries. They're non-negotiables. The principle here, you don't just manage time. You manage your body, you manage your brain. Shall we summarize?
Yes, let's summarize.
Most productivity hacks aren't magic. They boil down to 5 timeless principles. Protect your focus. Reduce friction and boost motivation. Make priorities visible. Use systems to reduce decisions. Manage your energy, not just your time. If you understand these foundations, you don't need to chase every new hack. You can build your own system, one that's flexible, sustainable, and most importantly, yours. Because productivity isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things at the right time with the energy and focus that you have. So next time you hear about the latest life hack, ask yourself, what principle does it really connect to? And that's the real secret to productivity. If you're still here, You're one of the real ones. I really appreciate it. Feel free to like, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you did find this video interesting, you're going to love this video. Your first impressions? They're wrong.
Please like and subscribe, you legend.